Hello everyone, welcome to today's stream. I will now post this stream to my Discord server. I have my Discord server here. Oh, everything is very big. Today I'm trying something new. Usually I increase the text scale on Sublime, but today I'm using high DPI scaling on Windows while streaming. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just gonna find the link to this stream and put it in this Discord here. Is that a nice Discord? You're welcome to join. I'll try to keep it a friendly place to talk about game dev and stuff. Let's see. We go here and copy the link, and then we go here. Fixing some font rendering issues. Live stream ping. Like that. Oops, and I might have clicked that. No, good. So there we go. Where did the chat go? There it is. Hello, level 0. I usually hide the chat behind my own face, so I can look at the chat on the screen without looking sideways. Okay, so today I'm gonna look at some font rendering issues. They're not like the worst thing ever, but it's something annoying that I want to fix for the Steam release of the game. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. So if we start the game, oh yeah, now let's see, I've increased the DPI scale, so the game is gonna be bigger as well. It's quite big. Maybe I do like this and then like this. Maybe I'll change the resolution of the game so it doesn't have these problems. Okay, if I press new game, then this little intro plays, right? And what we can see here quite quickly is that when there's a speech bubble appearing now, and I don't know if you can see it on the stream, but the text here is kind of shaking. It's kind of flickering weirdly and stuff. And this one kind of also does. It's sort of shaking a bit. You see, it kind of shakes there. And I think the reason for this is that I have, so all my graphics go through a pixelart filter thingy. This pixelart filter thingy is what makes, like, when you have pixel art and you move it across the screen, then it can kind of start flickering unless you put on a filter properly. And I have such a filter on all the graphics in the game when you play, so it doesn't appear shaky like that text. But with the text I can't use it because the font of my text does not I need to use pre-multiplied alpha to do that. So I will show you what sort of the problem is with that. So if we go to like here, and I'm gonna adjust this microphone slightly in the way of my screen. So if we go to, for example, here is that line, wake up Kitty, and then I think, yeah, oh, I'm a cloud today. This is just some this is a script. This is a script that runs sort of while the intro is happening. And it is drawing this dialogue bubble with this text inside it. So when it does this, I think this will queue up. Let me see what it does. This is part of the conversation system. Yeah, it runs render text and this one. Yeah. So in draw a world later, text to render, it does this stuff, and this thing also supports the kind of thing where the letters appear one at a time. But that's not so important. The important thing here is that usually when I render the normal graphics, I use pre-multiplied alpha, and that's so that the edges of the graphic don't get like ugly outlines combined with the pixel filtering. Like if you turn off the pre-multiplied, I can show you what happens. Begin blend mode, blah blah blah. Let's just do like this. Let's set it to alpha mode when we render with a normal texture like this, and then we can recompile that. And I think everything should now, I don't know if you can see it, but kind of everything has a weird outline now, like this cat here. And yeah, you see this gets an outline. So, and that's because of the pixel art filtering. It sets all the the textures to bilinear filtering, so that it can sort of checks neighboring pixels and can see sort of the little gradient of the bilinear filtering, like it gets a bit blurry at the edges. But anyways, that's not so important. But so if you don't put pre-multiplied alpha in combination with this, then you get these weird outlines everywhere like this. And the text currently, I can't use pre-multiplied alpha, because if I do that, I can show you what happens. This is when it draws the text. Oh yeah, we can actually do it in some other place. We can, like, for example, we can... Do I have a way to show the frame rate? How is that now again? Sorry. Game update. See here. Don't I have a way to... I think I recently put in a frame rate rendering thingy. Maybe it's in draw default. Oh, here it is. So for example on this one, how do I enable show FPS now again? That's what I want. F8. Okay. Oh, it was just there. So now you see this stuff up here, and oh, if I instead do this, set the blend mode to pre-multiplied alpha while it's doing this, then you see now what happens. So this is what happens if I use pre-multiplied alpha in combination with text. And the reason this happens is because the texture that's used by the text is like a one channel texture. It contains like essentially, it's a grayscale texture with an alpha, but the built-in pre-multiplied alpha equation in Raylib takes the three components, so it sort of messes it up somehow. So either I fix a new equation for, like, I make my own blend mode somehow, or, and this is what I'm gonna do instead, I export the textures that I use for the font, which is generated by Raylib, but I export them and then I fix them up. I put it in the extra channels, so it's grayscale, but it has like, it just wastes some data. It doesn't matter for my game since it's so tiny. And then I don't need to change blend mode at all. I think that should fix it. So that's what I wanted to do. So then I, like, if I do that, then I can just have like this. Then everything drawn can just use pre-multiplied alpha, even the font texture. So that's what I am doing today. So I think I had someone on the Raylib Discord tell me sort of kind of what I could do. I'm just gonna that stuff again. So we will just experiment until we sort of can get this working. So in Raylib, the font, if we go and look at the font of Raylib, it's essentially some metadata and some info about the rectangles of where the letters are in a texture, and then it's the texture itself. And this is the texture that has the wrong image format right now. So I'm gonna try to extract this texture while the game is running, write it to disk, open it in like maybe in Affinity Photo or something, and just change it to RGB and then save it, and then stop use and then start making my own font or something like that. This will work fine because I can actually close this stuff. This is Affinity Photo program. That will work fine because I have decided on all my font size and everything, and the game is gonna go out soon anyways. So I think that should fix it. Let's try that. It might not work at all in the end because maybe my assumption is wrong, but this is the easiest way I have to check this assumption if this is the problem. So we're gonna try it first for this. No, let's try it for the dialogue font actually, because that's the one that's used in the intro. Right, so dialogue font is loaded here. It says load this font name with this size, and then it asks Raylib to load it from either from memory or from a file, depending on if I have this embed assets. What this thing does, it when I ship the game, then all my assets are embedded inside the exe, so it's one exe of everything. So that's why it loads it from memory in that case, and the data is on the font it found. But when I'm in the sort of dev mode, then it this is gonna be a problem, because here I assume when I load a font in release mode it's gonna be a problem, because I assume here when I load the font that I can that I loaded from the TTF. But I just realized something. What I could do is I don't need to involve my photo editing application or anything. The load font happens once when you start the program. I could load the font here, fetch the texture, and then fix up the data and swap out the texture for the new one. And then I think everything will work. So maybe that's what I should try. But then all the fonts are just fixed. I could also try changing the Raylib source code. I was looking a bit at that, but actually I need to change it in a few different places. So Raylib is the library for drawing graphics and drawing text and stuff, and it also loads the fonts, and it creates some kind of bitmap image texture for the font when you load it. So let's try that then. That sounds good. I might make some mic handling noise here because I'm trying to lower the microphone a tiny bit. There we go, that's better. Here we go. There we go. So let's go back. Well, let's just try doing everything in this function here. So we can do like this. What's this F? This is the all fonts lives in assets. All fonts Oh yeah, it's just an asset. So we can call this FA for font asset. Then we remove the F here. And then instead here we say like this. F is a rl.font. And then we assign F. We load it from like that. And now we have the font here, and then we return it. This should still compile. This console always wants to be giant. I mean, if I reset the game now, everything should still work. Well, yeah. Right. So now, let's maybe over here bring up the font and look at it a bit. So we have the texture here. How do I need to somehow fetch the image for a texture. This would of course all be, let me check something. Load font. Can I just get the image instead somehow? Let's see here. Gen image font atlas. Hello Akkus art. Nice Swedish. I love when Finnish people speak Swedish because some Finnish people know very well Swedish, but some also has this kind of school Swedish they learned, so they can have very fun conversations. Okay. So this one, I would just like to be able to say I want to do exactly what this thing does. Load font from memory. Ah, you know the Swedish. Nice. Then you can read all your government information in 2 languages and cross-examine. Yeah, okay. So let's look at, so it's a bit annoying this because the font contains a texture, and texture is something that lives on the GPU, right? But I want to take out the image, change it, and then make a texture out of it. So it's like unnecessary that this load font even uploaded itself. So I want to check something here. I want to check load font from memory. What is that? Oh, I need to put in my, I don't think my project has my Raylib source. Load font from memory. Let me find my Raylib source. I have it somewhere here. I like going from the Odin binding straight into the Raylib source and just looking at what it does sometimes. This one maybe. Image from memory. Cody asks, where does the image come from? Well, I load a font here and I say either from a TTF block, a memory that's a true type font, or from a file on disk that will also be a true type font. So inside rtext.c, now we're in the C code here of Raylib, just looking around a bit what it does. This thing takes some file data, loads the font file data, and then it generates an image here, I think. And then you see here it has the image. This is the image I want. Here it has it. So maybe load texture from image. Okay. I kind of want to do what this stuff does in my code. So load font data. Ah, look at that. So this is the stuff I need to feed into this. So I can use load font data to generate the data for my font. Nonsense words. And then I can use gen image font atlas to generate image. Then I can modify that image, and then I can upload it to the GPU and manually create a font. And then you're all done. And then maybe we'll see if this fixes my problem. So I can just do what this does. So let's just let's copy this code, and we need to translate it to Odin, sort of, but that's not too hard, and we might not need to do all the things it does. Let's see here. Load font. Okay, let's try to first translate this code to Odin so that it does the same thing, so I can run some other code here. What does load font ex do? Yeah, so what I'm trying to do here is I have a problem in my game that when you can show you you will see here there will be some text appearing here. Actually, I think I should mute the game also. But here is some text appearing. Wait, I'm gonna mute the game, I realize. Where is my... Where? My mixer's gone. Anyways, this text here is kind of shaking. Oh, actually, I'm not outputting the desktop audio, so this has never played in audio, so that's fine. But the text there is kind of shaking, and that's, I think the whole problem is that I use some kind of pixel art filtering on my graphics, right? To make it not shake when you move it around. There's lots of details on sort of how people do this. You can Google... I have a whole video on this actually, but you can Google pixel art filtering, and then you get to this very nice article, right? And there's yeah, shaky text is the cat nervous. Yeah, everyone is nervous in this game, seems like. I will show you an example here. Where is the one I was looking for? Anti-aliasing, blocky, clems, ra. There is a nice... Let me show you what I mean. What's it called? Shader toy. Let's see if it's this one maybe. No, that's not the one I was thinking about. No. Here. No, that's not the one I was thinking of either. This one. Here you can see on the right here it has applied sort of a filter over the pixel art, and on this one it hasn't. So when it starts to scale down, everything in this one is kind of shaking or something. It's kind of shimmering, one could say, and this one doesn't. And all this code does is that it can show my pixel art pixel filter.fragment shade. This one, all it does is when it samples the texture, yeah, then it, instead of using the UV straight off for sampling the texture, it pipes it through this function. And this function essentially, I think it moves the pixel into the middle and then floors it, so it gets a more stable value than if it just moves smoothly across the screen like that. And then this one also does some other stuff, like it makes sure that some of the edges look nice. But essentially this is one of the filters that can achieve a similar effect to this, where it doesn't shimmer. However, to achieve this effect, you must do a few things with your graphics. You must have all your the textures must use pre-multiplied alpha and must also be set to bilinear filtering. And bilinear filtering would usually make a you know, you would never want that in pixelart, because when you scale it up it becomes blurry, right? But what this does, since it's sort of snapping the pixels instead, combined with that blurry texture, then it will actually only pick the sort of more discrete values. And then the reason you want pre-multiplied alpha is sort of because if you have normal alpha with bilinear filtering, the edges will get this sort of weird effect combined with the alpha, where it sort of looks like it has an outline. But if you pre-multiply it in, then the alpha is actually multiplied into the components of the color, so then you don't get that problem. So it's just it's a bit of this sort of the prerequisite for doing this kind of effect, those two things. But the pre-multiplied alpha in Raylib only works if you have RGBA texture, so it has red, green, blue, and then alpha, right? And I have that for all my textures, except the font in Raylib is a grayscale, so it has gray plus alpha. And then the default equation in Raylib for pre-multiplied alpha breaks down. I could swap, like in Raylib, when you like show here, here's where you set the blend modes when you render the text, right? And I could change this so that I put in my own equation that sort of only respects the grayscale plus the alpha. But then I still need to change blend mode all the time, which is still sort of you need to change the, you know, the state of the this gives you then you change the state of the renderer, so I think the batching of your draw calls will be messed up a bit more. Cody asks if the Raylib gives you a grayscale SDF or an anti-aliased bitmap. What it just makes a bitmap. You can check here. So you load the font data, which is, I think it's like which glyphs it should include and stuff, and then Raylib generates the font atlas here, and then this just makes a lot of rectangles. Here's some different packing methods for packing the letters into the texture. Yeah. So essentially it just seems to be packing like if you look at, where is it? If you look at this stuff, it's essentially just packing in the different glyphs into is this where it copies here it copies the pixels of those. into it, and it uses the STB font or whatever it's called to do that. And here you kind of see the grayscale alpha texture, so it's actually I've already been here and messed around, I realize. Carl changed this, it says, but okay, let's I'm gonna check a few assumptions here. Yeah, here's my changes. Here I tried to fix this by modifying Raylib, but it seems like I must modify it in more places. It just got kind of messy. So I just rather not mess with this code and instead mess with the atlas it generates. And then I would be able to use pre-multiply alpha, and then I don't have to change blend mode all the time, and also my font rendering hopefully becomes more stable. I'm not sure about that part, but I think so. Otherwise, I'm barking up the wrong tree. The question is my Raylib running this code right now? Or it doesn't actually matter because this code wasn't run anyway, so we can ignore that for now. That's the reason it didn't work. Okay, so now we're gonna make our own load font from memory-ish thingy. And we're gonna check one more thing. What does load font ex do? Okay, this simply loads a file, loads the font from memory and returns it. So we're gonna do something like this too. This will all be exciting. So here's some C code I need to translate. Load font from memory is a proc that takes a... Okay, here it checks some file type. Okay, I don't really care about that because can you say load TTF from memory? So then I can say file data is a byte flies int date and data size is a int and font size. Actually, I don't need data size because it comes here, part of that. Font size is an int, and then we need code point and code point count. Okay, that I don't need either because I never send those in. Okay, so I just need font size and the file data. Okay. So we type that, and then okay, what's this? File extension lower. Okay, I don't have the file extension. Doesn't matter. I have TTF support. It doesn't matter, these things. Like, I know what my Raylib is compiled with. I don't need to fool around with that. And then I make my own font initialization here. Base size equals font size. What does this do? Glyph count. Code. No. Okay. Here you say glyph count equals 95. And then I say glyph padding equals null. I don't need to do. And then this one loads the font data. The glyphs is rl.load font data. And then we say file data. Yeah, what we do here is Odin, in order to get this kind of raw pointer, or I think it's a char pointer. So you just do something like this to get the pointer of the first element. So it looks like a C pointer thingy. And then data size is len of file data, I think. I can check here. Yes, good. And then what more is happening? And then the code points, we don't have any code points. The glyph count. Okay, then we just do font.base size. Then we do it like that. Glyph count is font.glyph count. And then font default. What the hell does that mean? Type. I'm gonna just actually do this. Or actually I can make this full width like this. What does type do here? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but... Oh, actually, look, you can do bitmap or font SDF. I didn't know this. This depends on what tells... So in this case, default means bitmap. Interesting. I should fool around with this someday to see if it changes anything with my font rendering. But it's not so important right now. Okay, then I can say rl.font default, I think. Like that. And then we're down to here. If font... Okay. Okay, let's actually... I want to check something here. Font type, that's the... Okay. This generates SDF font generation, but you require external shader. So this one gives you everything you need, but you need a custom shader. I don't really know how to do that, but I guess I could Google around and see. I've never done that. Let me just check. There's probably a Raylib example for this. Raylib SDF font. Hold space to see. Aha, then it's sort of... Ooh, I think it's a bit blurry, but that's probably... Okay, that's cool. But it's still a bit annoying. Then I need a custom. Then I need to switch to a custom shader to render my fonts anyways. Let's see what this thing does. Unload font. Okay, here's the shader they use. So this is one of Raylib's examples. I was just curious now since you said that. Oh, okay. So Ray SDF doesn't represent sharp corners very well. MSDF is an extension that supports that better. Okay. Yeah, I have very pixel art. I think actually, you know, I have. If you saw the font, I mean, look at this. It's all sharp corners all the way. So maybe I should continue with my current idea. For now, maybe that will be a better idea for the moment. So if font.glyphs is not nil, wait, what is rl.raylib font Am I font.glyphs? This is an RL font. Okay. Is there a wait. I'm gonna check something here. This looks a bit fishy. Raylib.age font. This is the C code, right? This is the font in C. And here are the Odin bindings. Let's find them. Okay, we have base size, chars count padding, texture, rex, and then glyphs is called chars. I think what might have happened here is that maybe it has been renamed in Raylibs in between 4.0 and 5.0 or something. But the Odin bindings was sort of incrementally patched up. Maybe. Or for some other reason you couldn't have that. Anyways, so so it's supposed to be chars here. Is there a char count as well then? Yep. Glyph padding is font TTF. Okay. Wait, this you're not supposed to use nil here because it's if. I think because we go back to this. It's a multi-pointer. Okay. And then let me open the Raylib.odin here instead, so I can just peek at that while I'm doing stuff. Because I've changed the name of things. Right, so we have rl.font default blah 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 blah. Don't need the semicolons. And here comes the texture. Okay, let's take all this code now. Put it here. And then we say atlas is rl.jenny blah 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 blah. And then we say chars rex char count, chars count maybe it's called, base size font.glyph padding, char padding, chars padding 0. Then we remove the semicolons. Update glyphs image to use alpha, required to be used on image draw text. Okay. What is image draw text? Keep derailing myself here. Draw text default font within an image destination. You can draw. Okay, I get it. You can draw. So you can either draw to the screen, which means draw to the back buffer or to a render target on the GPU. But you can also use fonts in Raylib to draw into an image. And the difference between image and texture, the image is kept. Image is kept in the normal RAM, and the texture is an image node, essentially uploaded to the GPU in the GPU memory. Hello, Rowan D. Jagger. No, it's Odin and Raylib. Right. So I should have some fancy text somewhere on the screen, sort of with what I'm doing today. I guess it says in the video description also though. Right, so this thing, what does this do? So we're gonna change this to 4 I in 0, and the funny thing right now is that I'm translating some C code from Raylib into Odin, so I actually have Odin and C on the screen at the same time, which will be very confusing to look at, because it looks like, yeah, crazy town right now. And then we will do rl.unload image font.glyphs chars I.image, and then we'll steal this line, and then we'll do font.chars. So what I'm doing now is, this is very experimental and I'm not sure exactly what's gonna happen. Well, what I'm gonna do first is replicate, so my Odin load TTF from memory works exactly like before, and then we can go in and add stuff in between. I'd rather do this than change the what's it called, Raylib source code, because then I have to recompile that on all the platforms. I still need to do that, but it's just sometimes more error prone to go in and hack inside a library you don't know, rather than just extract a small part of it, change that, and then only use that, I think, at least. Font.rix. Okay, that should work. And then we can rl.unload image atlas. Okay, and this one says like data loaded successfully. Okay, we can remove that for now. Do not need. Okay, so then there's some else's here that gets the default font. We can do that to be nice. Blah, blah, blah. Wait, this one I don't need. The other one is if the glyphs don't exist. RL that get font default. Let's remove some semicolons. No, I don't do that just because of housekeeping. It's just that my compiler will scream because I have vet semicolons on, which means that semicolons are not allowed. Just to make sure when I, for example, copy Odin examples from the internet and bring them to my game, that I just clean all that up because they're really not necessary. Okay. That's load TTF from memory minus the TTF. I mean, it's a load font from memory. That's now load TTF from memory because I assume it's a TTF. Because I don't really care. Because I know what my Raylib is compiled with. Like that. And now we just need to fix... Actually, this... I don't need a function for this. I can just... This is just load a... What this one does is loads from a file name. So I will just down where I use this, do that. Let's go down here. Where my Discord go? There it is. La 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 la. Okay. Now let's see here. Where are we? Lost in the code. Here we go. So this one will just now do load TTF from memory. And then we just say FA data, and then we just say font size, and remove all this, and that's that. Troy Maxwell is asking, have you ever used C# for gamedev / have any thoughts about it? I have made many game jams in Unity, and I've worked at one company that used Unity, which meant I used C#. I think C# is... I don't hate it. It's quite okay. It's... like what I'm doing here is more like I write Odin code that uses Raylib. You know, it just outputs a program that I can run. It doesn't go via a big game engine. It's more sort of the written from scratch kind of style. And in this case, Odin is, you know, has the biggest difference between Odin and C# is of course that C# has this automatic memory management, right? So let me... This camera is a bit... hitting the table. I think C#, the funny thing about C# is that there are lots of sort of modern things, like you can almost do some kind of functional programming things in there, like if you... like you can make it do quite fancy things. But then suddenly sometimes C# just feels like a language from like the 80s. Like it's just like suddenly there is something missing. What is it? Like you can't have... like in C# you can have local functions, right? So you can make a function that lives... like I could make in C# a function in here, you know. And then I can call it this function inside here, and it doesn't leak outside if I just want a local function. But I can't make a local struct or class like inside a function. So, you know, sometimes you make a big function that's just supposed to do like some processing, and then maybe you need to define some structs inside that function to do some housekeeping. Like maybe you are generating a texture for your game based on some data from your editor or something, and then you have lots of code that's running and you want some housekeeping structs just for organizing things. Then those structs, like you can have like local functions in there to help you, and you sort of not leak out the rest of the code. But you can't make local structs inside there. The struct you must leak outside of the function. I think the struct must either be inside a namespace or a class or something, or something like that. And those kind of small things, like they pop up, like that's just one example, but those kind of small things pop up here and there. So sometimes it feels very like, you know, modern and cool. Like you can do like all this kind of sending functions around and like composing new functions from old functions and doing all kinds of interesting stuff. But then suddenly those kind of things happen, and you know, the things doesn't really fit together. So that's sort of the worst thing about C# for me, that it feels a bit... it tries to be modern, but then suddenly sometimes it's also looks less modern than some languages from the 90s. I don't know, it's just something weird about it. But it's okay. It's just... I prefer a language with manual memory management in the end, because it's not... I don't think it's that hard, and just having that sort of knowledge about what your program is actually doing is nice. But yeah. Okay, load TTF from memory. We don't have to compile this yet. I need another proc to load. Don't I do this somewhere? Somewhere in this file I think I load data from disk. So let's just steal that code. Don't I? Don't I? Okay, maybe somewhere in here. Load... what's the name? Load entire file. What's it called? It's in the editor. Write entire file. Okay, here is in the Odin standard library. Here's write entire file. Load. Read entire file. Okay, this is the one I wanted. Do I ever do this in my game? Oh, here I go. I just wanted to see how this looked a bit. Yeah, this guy. This is the... Then I can... So what... What this function does essentially is that it loads a file from disk and then runs this one, right? So we can do something like this, copy this code here, load font ex. I'm just gonna double check what this one does. Pull it out here. Okay, file data. Okay. Yeah, so we say font data. Okay, is read entire file. And then we say fa.path. And we... Let's see what this one does. It loads the file data and then it unloads the file data. Okay, that means we can do this, but just use the temp allocator instead. We don't need to do any of that. And then we can just do f equals so this is kind of an Odin thing, that it will read the entire file from here, use a temp allocator, which means its throwaway memory will be cleared during the end of the frame, or at the end of the frame. And then also this one returns two values, the data and OK. This is a bool. This is if this returns something nice. And then there's a semicolon here, and then there's an OK. So this one initializes these things and then also checks the condition, and then it runs this stuff. And then we can do load ttf from memory, font data, font size. Right. And then this one did something more here. Oh yeah, if this doesn't succeed, then it says f equals rl dot get font default. It's interesting, you know, this code here, right, is, I'm gonna just check so I don't lie here, except for that this one, this load from memory has slightly more parameters in my load ttf from memory. This code here does the exact same thing as this code, but it's a bit less. Anyways, that's just because Odin has... I usually say that Odin is a low-level language with high-level feeling, because we got these little nice things to help you to make the code neat. Okay, is this done now? Let's compile it and see. Syntax error. Expected a comma. Got a new line. Why? Oh, because it's inside the font thingy. Yeah, this is gonna need to be I32, because in Odin this one is same as pointer size, I think, the int, but this is a c.int, and that will mean it's an I32-bit integer. So do have that fixed. Oh, what have I written here? That's how we write a slice. What's it complaining about here? Sorry, I need to... It's a bit cramped, this. rl.font default not declared by rl. Oh no? Okay, what does that mean? Let's go to our text again and check out load font data. This one says font default. What is that then? Oh, I know. It's just like this, because it's an enum, so you use the implicit enum selector. No? Okay, okay. Be like that then. Oh, of course, it's supposed to just be dot default, because it's implied that it's a font. And then the length is wrong, but that's just because it wants it to be an I32. Like that. And then the chars pattern. default Charles padding. Okay. Okay, this is... Okay, I'm gonna write 4 there since it says that in Raylib. 4. Like that. Oh, it does not return a value. That's unfortunate. rl.font. And at the end we return the font. Otherwise there's no point. Okay, it's compiling. Let's see if it could hot reload that. Well, it won't reload the font until I reset the game. I think it broke. It's fine. Space. Okay, so almost correct. I'm gonna restart the game. I think it's still gonna be busted, but yeah, it's still busted. Okay, let's try to figure out this. Oh, what happened here? Why is... Oh, never mind. Okay. There's just some tiny mistake somewhere. Let's try to figure it out then. What did I do wrong here? Let's go to our text again and then find this one. Glyph padding. Okay, I'm just gonna double check that. If not defined, okay, I think that should be 4. This one says 95 here. Wait a minute. Go back. Go back. Load font. Font. No, okay, that's correct. Okay. Font size. Hello Amex. Thank you for your Amexes that they've been watching my stuff and learning Odin from it. Thank you for your kind words. It's been quite fun. I mean, the streams are usually a bit more it's not as organized as the videos maybe, but it's fun that people are enjoying both formats. I'm currently working on, I had this series up now called Make Games Using Odin and Raylib. It's sort of for programming beginners more than... well, you can watch it even if you're not a beginner. Because maybe you don't know the game dev part, or maybe you just like watching stuff, I don't know. But I'm making the 3rd episode for that one. For each episode I make a blog post and a video. So first I write the code, then I make the blog post, then I make the video. So I'm at the blog post status with that one right now. Then I will make the video. But yeah, that's very nice of you to say that you enjoy it. What happened is the question. Let me copy this code out again to here. I'm just gonna do a little comparison forward. Code point count. Amex says that they're more familiar with C and SDL. And going to Odin is heck of a transition. Yeah, I can get that. At least you've seen the manual memory management of C before, so in that sense I guess going to Odin can be a bit more comfy. If you come from like a non-memory management language, it can be even harder. But I think Odin is very nice and easy to learn because of it's just so little extra stuff going on. Like you don't need to write new headers, you can just make a new file in your package and it's picked up automatically, and the standard library is useful, and you know, and the syntax is not overly, like, it doesn't feel boilerplatey at all. Now let's look at the C code and try to understand why did everything break. Chars count is the glyph count. Chars, maybe did I mess up the load font data? Base size, data size, chars count. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong line. Code points, glyph count, dot default. So like I said, chars and glyphs here is because the bindings, something is wrong in the Odin bindings. This should be glyphs everywhere. Don't know what happened there. It's probably maybe the binding got made from the old Raylib headers or something. But what have I messed up here? I don't really know. I don't really know. I was like, this is gonna work fine. Wait, this looks wrong. Font rec, this might be font.rex. That should be like that, I think. Maybe. Let's see if that compiles. I'll explain. Oh no, it's supposed to be a pointer to a... Troy Maxwell says that they're gonna try go from C# to monogame, from C# and monogame to Odin and Raylib. And the hardest obstacle is going to go from thinking OOP and classes to not having a class. Yeah, just, you know what you can do? Just whenever you wanted a class before, just make some structs and then make some procedures that do stuff with the structs, and just don't worry too much about it. I think you would be fine. Akusart says, my cats can now climb. Akusart is making very nice pixel art game that he posts in my Discord every now and then. And he just added a little cat animation in there. Okay, so this was supposed to be like this. I was just wrong. Font.chars. What does this one... Yeah, this one was the rectangles, and then the glyph info, and then the blah blah blah. Pack method. Blah 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 blah. Padding. Help. Let's check if this one should be 0, because there was an if-def inside there. What? Didn't like that. Spooky. Crashed. Do you have a... Yeah, they failed to package character because there's no padding between them. That's fine. We just restart it again. Yeah. What have I messed up? Why is everything like 10 times the size? There must be some maybe. Unloaded charge image, blah blah blah. There must be some number just that messed up somewhere. Charge count 95. That's because I do not supply a number of code points, so I assume 95, which I think is just the English alphabet plus some stuff. Base size, font size, and the font size also goes in here. Font.base size goes to third parameters to load font data. That one. I mean, it does look like it has loaded it. It's just everything is suddenly too big. Like this is the letter here. This is also the letter. And it looks like the correct font even. So what could then be wrong? fa.pa. Yeah. No, it does. It's not loading the wrong font because then it should. Base size is font size. Glyph count is this one. Glyph padding is 0. Wait. Wait a minute. No, that's correct, because this stuff here is this stuff, right? This is dangerous. I'm using stuff from the font while initializing it. Font dot whatever it was, chars. This might have gone all kinds of wrong. There's no guarantee that it loads these in up to bottom to top order or anything. There we go. Haha. Okay. So now we have converted our thingy to Odin here. What we can do now is, in between these two lines here, I can mess with the atlas. And I hope so, at least. Gen image. Gen image. Where's... Oh, I was in the wrong file. Okay. Why can't I... Wait, what's going on here? Sometimes I get into this mode where I must close all other files. Because I get confused with something. Yes, there it is. No? This one, I mean. Why doesn't I find it when I type it? Again. That's stupid. Silly me. Okay, this one returns a normal image in Raylib. And the image just has what I will need to do here is I will need to, I know it's a grayscale image, so I just need to make a new image that goes over this image and copies out the data, but also adds the red, green and the blue, but sets all of them to the same as the old grayscale one. So it's called an RGBA image. And then I'll send that one in. And then I will have my RGBA unnecessarily big font, but hopefully I will not have to change blend modes and stuff. And then my whole game can use a single shader for everything drawn, always. Okay, how do I do this now? Pixel format. Well, we can look at what this one does, kinda, down here. Well, we can't really look at this code because I've changed this code. Okay, I'm just gonna go and revert that. Hold on. Git reset -- hard. Bloop. Okay. It currently does this. This is the text. This is the atlas that it uses. And then it says here. Okay, so I'm gonna steal this, kinda. And then I'm just gonna put it in a comment here. Then we're gonna do something similar, but not Atlas RGBA is, well, okay, let's see if I can do this properly in Odin. Okay, it's I want an uncompressed RGBA and I want 8 bits per pixel, so I should have an unsigned char, which means each, can't you just yeah, let's just do this. How do it's so seldom I actually just allocate memory straight up, but let's just do this instead. We can say RGBA pixel, but that's the exact same as this is. Okay, whatever. I'll make rl.color how big. This is me now being like, how do I program Odin now again? Make a slice. Now you say the length. Okay. So we do like this. So it's because I'm mixing C, looking at C code, and I'm programming Odin code, and you just get like all kinds of. And then I just need atlas.width times atlas.height, maybe. Is that it? Image. Yeah. Very good. And then context.temp allocator. Okay, so now I have the same data, but sort of as a slice, sort of like an array of colors that's of this size here. So now we will do 4. What is it we want here? Let me think a bit. Yeah, we kind of want to. Is this what I want to do? a loop over all the pixels in the atlas. Think here. This one is a char, 2 chars per pixel. This is a grayscale plus alpha, and I want to sort of expand it to RGB alpha and steal out. I will steal the value for each of the. Actually, all of them are just 255, and the only thing that's set is alpha on the data gray alpha thingy. So what I can do actually is atlas dot data is a raw pointer. Can I easily cast that to something? Atlas U8. How do I do this now again? I so seldom toy around with raw memory in Odin. So it's more like atlas.data. I think I transmute it. Can I make like a slice from oh no, now we're in totally wrong. Slice.odin from pointer and count. Yes, this is what I want. So I have a pointer. Byte from raw. Actually, no, that won't work. So I do this, and then I say that these are a U8 array. Okay, let's do this. Slice.from pointer atlas data, but we take this one and we say it's actually a how to do you U8. Not sure this is gonna work, but and this one then will be like this because it's 2 bytes per pixel. No, 2 bytes per pixel. Oh, actually it is. Wait a minute. Let me check something here. Yeah, it's just 2 bytes per pixel. Okay. I'm on stream trying to be smart with my memory stuff. So down here, I want to write RGBA. Okay, RGBA data I.RGB equals 255, 255, 255. I think you can type like that. No. Can you? Never tried it. We'll see. And then RGBA data I.alpha will need to come from the atlas. And then the atlas at I times 2. Right, because plus 1. Wait. Because it's... So we're at index 0, but we want the alpha. So it's first the color value and then it's the alpha, right? Like this. It's first this stuff and then it's this stuff. And then... But this one goes... You can actually do like this also. Well, whatever, that's fine. I'll clean this up a bit later. But then we take the atlas U8, I times 2 plus 1, because we want the second one on each. So it's 1, and then I is 1, so then this becomes 2, and then we have the third one. So that's all good and correct. Okay. Okay. And then we can say that here uses the image atlas. Okay, so then we then say atlas.data equals RGBA data 0 and atlas.pixel.format, and then we're gonna find the pixel format we want. Pixel format is sort of the it's just saying what kind of format does this image have, and what this is going for, what Raylib does for fonts by standard is gray alpha, so it has 2 channels, each 8 bits per channel, so it's 2 bytes per pixel. But we want this one, which is the same. This is actually R8 A8, I think. Yes. It's just written like that instead. So we'll do like that. And then we can say rl.unload. Yeah, we can do like this. rl.free atlas. I kind of want to free, tell Raylib to free the atlas data. Can I? Because what does unload image really do? Okay. Is there a... I think actually there is a free memfree. What does this guy do? We can go into the internals of... Yeah. Okay. Whatever then. We just do this. rl.memfree atlas.data. This will be interesting. It's probably gonna be some compilation errors because of I don't have slice, core slice pulled in here. That is not so weird. This I realize now I'm in asset storage.odin. That bears anything. Okay. Oh yeah. Because I used the Raylib stuff. Okay, it compiled. Hi Yoon. Yes, you're correct. I'm transforming a grayscale pixel format to a color pixel format by doing silly things. And then we crash. I probably did something wrong. And the silly thing about the format is that the gray part is actually always 255 in Raylib. So that's why I've used, well, actually, why do that? I can just do this instead. There's no point in being smart. Whatever. Let's be, it's better to, like, what if they change it in Raylib for some reason? So now it takes these. I can probably write this in a smarter way. Okay, let's run it again. We can put in the debugger and see what happens. It crashes. Boom. Okay. Let's use the debugger. I use the RAD debugger currently. We'll see if it boots up everything correctly or not. It seems to be starting and then it crashed on something. I need to update my RAD debugger because it's alpha software and I've probably already done some cool stuff. Unload image atlas. Oh, of course. Wait. Let me see that. Yeah, this is not needed because I make the RGB data here with a temp allocator. Here I free the atlas, the old atlas, and then I have mixed tabs and spaces. I'm gonna move the chat up a bit so I can see this thingy. Convert. That's because I copied code out of Raylib and then it got. Let's see what happens now. Hello, Eldin12. Yeah, I got a lot more subscribers quickly. I was around 900 something. Then this guy called JDH, which is just Danish programming streamer that does his game dev stuff. He did a stream where he tried Odin, and then he called, like, he told people to go watch my channel on the stream, and he put my channel on the screen. I was like, oh, that's very nice. So big thanks to him. But then I got like lots of new followers, maybe like 100. And then also because I just released this Make Games Using Odin and Raylib series, which has been very popular, I also got a lot of subscribers. So I went from under 900 to 1.2 thousand. Oh, Amex, you watched the JDH stream. Yeah, it's quite a fun little stream to make a game like that in one. I should do like a game jam or something and stream it. You know, you start with Odin and Raylib and then you just go and stream it all. That would be quite fun because you can do like 1 day game jam or maybe 2 days, like 2 8-hour sessions or something. You know, see how far you get. Eldin is asking, what's the RAD debugger? Is this like the Odin standard debugger? No, it's the debugger by RAD Game Tools, which is these days owned by Epic, but it's a company that does like video compression, decompression software and stuff. They made their own debugger, and it's for C and C++ or something, like maybe only for C, I don't know, mostly, but it works perfectly fine with Odin. And the reason I use RAD debugger, like I used to use Remedy BG, which is also quite nice, but the reason I use RAD debugger is because it does not lock PDBs. So that's the debug info files in Windows, right? And the problem with locking PDB, so Visual Studio and Remedy BG and some other debuggers, when you launch application, they will lock the PDB because it's reading the debug info from there. But I use hot reload, and then when I rebuild the game, the PDB needs to be replaced. So then the compiler can't do anything because it like crashes, like it just sends an error that couldn't replace the PDB, and it's sad. So I can't compile. But with RAD debugger, and this is the main reason I use it currently, is that RAD debugger seems to have its own debug format that just reads from the PDB and then makes it into some other format, and it even checks if the PDB has changed. So I can have my debugger attached, and make changes to my Odin code, press a button that compiles it, and then my game reloads that, hot reloads the code, but I can do it with the debugger attached because it does not lock the PDBs, and everything just works. It just continues the debug session like nothing. AcusArt, yeah, I saw that we discussed this in my Discord, that AcusArt had problems with getting the RAD debugger to work properly. Can't see external libraries in the call stack. No, you can only see external. Yeah, I can see your own code. I'm not sure what's up with that. Anyways, let's close the debugger maybe, because I was trying to... Yeah. Close it. Oh, wait, did I not remove the unload yet? No. I don't want debugger anymore. I know what's wrong. I want to remove this line and run again, because this is done with temp allocator. So if we're lucky... Oh, it worked. I think this uses my new texture. Okay, interesting. Now nothing is different yet, because wait, I'm just gonna double check. Does it actually use my texture? Font.texture equals, yes, it loads this one. Like if we can try this in this way. We can zero this one and this one. Now we will have red text, you know, because it's only... Let's try that. Yes, got red text because it brings up the grayscale font to this, and it just magically works because the font doesn't care about what's in the texture. It just wants the rectangles and the texture. So it wants to know where is each glyph in the texture, which is the stuff in here that comes out of load font data. But then what the texture actually contains, it doesn't care about. So now I can bring that back. Yeah, Amex says that they found Odin through JDH stream. The same day and the day after, and a few days after, in the Odin Discord, you can really see like when is a popular video about Odin released, because you see the number of joins in the Odin Discord, in the welcome channel, how much it just suddenly increases. Yeah, so it was also when the developer voices video came out, which wasn't as... It was quite big. It's have tens of thousands of views on that one. Then also it got a big boost. Okay, but now nothing has changed yet. Like if we... Let me just go to the menu, press new game. We can maybe make this big. And then we look at the text here. This should still be shaky, I think. Come on, say something. Yeah, it's like wobbling. Okay, so let's go back to game. Oh, okay. Actually, let's draw FPS. We can check that for just so it works. Draw. What's it called? I don't know what it's called. Okay. Is it draw default? Yeah, this stuff. What's it called? Show FPS. So Yoon asks, what's the reason for the pixel format change? Raylib uses grayscale plus alpha, but because of my pixel art filtering, yeah, I want to apply the wobbly fix shader to the text, but I can't properly because I can't use pre-multiplied alpha, because the equation Raylib uses pre-multiplied alpha doesn't work with grayscale textures. So let's just try doing this. Let's see if this text renders properly. No, it does still not render properly. Okay, so what's the problem then? Wait a minute. Have I been barking up the wrong tree? Wait, this draw text code point, does this use... Wait a minute. Maybe not all hope is lost yet. Yeah, this is draw texture pro. That's the thing, this stuff doesn't do anything special. It just draws a texture, right? And then that's what it just draws textures. I think. Font.texture. Wait, am I... RGB, blah 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 blah. Why? Oh, why does it? Okay, this stuff here uses the atlas. Image from image. Okay, this thing just copies out images from the atlas, but atlas is updated to be correct. What's wrong? What's wrong with all this? There's another thing here that load texture. One thing I always do here is I set the filter to bilinear and then the wrap to clamp. The clamp doesn't really matter, but for the pixelart filtering you need a bilinear texture filtering. And like I said, that's with pixelart you would never usually filter your textures, but the reason you do that with this is because so it gets this sort of fuzzy edges. So when it gets upscaled, it can that difference will disappear when it clamps the color in the anti-wobbly shader, but then it can sort of move smoothly, I think. I need to really study more exactly how those kind of filters work, but set texture filter, font.texture. And okay, let's just, yeah, we know it goes via this stuff because I could make the text red. So, like what's special about these textures? I load them and they have bilinear filtering and they're clamped. The clamping doesn't matter, that's just me. I just do that. Why do I do that? I think it's just I'd rather have that happen when it wraps around, so it clamps to the edge of texture rather than mirror around, whatever it does usually. Let me check something here. TS pattern. I've made images before, and all you need to do is specify the format and the size But it's obvious that it's correct format because it works. Like, I can make it green and stuff. Or green, and now it will be green and blue. Now I kind of see what it's... This is weird. Why is this like this? Okay, now it works, but it's blue. This is now being drawn with... I guess I used to have to have blue text in my game. No, but... What the hell? The reason I have these two... This usually says .alpha here. But yeah, it shouldn't be necessary. I think. Yeah. But why? Why? What am I missing here? Why on earth would it be like this? Why is... Oh wait, maybe it's not working. Maybe it's... It might not have worked. Maybe it was just not using the correct... Because now... Okay, let me check some stuff here. Okay, why on earth does it work if it's blue? RGBA. What? What do I do when I load my other... This is the code that loads my other texture. It just loads them from up. Does this load texture do anything different? No, it loads an image. And then it loads the texture from an image. Right. And what? This code here, load texture from image, atlas. And I've changed the format. I've changed the data. I mean, the data is obviously correct because otherwise nothing would look, otherwise look like garbage. And it's RGBA. And that's, if you look at the pixel formats, it's this one. The one that was before was this one, which is just R8, A8. Right. Okay. Checking our assumptions here. Draw text. Uses a font like that. Okay, how is the font created? It uses load font, which will go in here. I'm in build, not in. It will come to this one. Use temp allocator, and then we get in here. But that's not the problem, right? So, like I said before, what I could do also here is, instead of changing the texture, I could fix so the pre-multiply alpha mode worked with grayscale image. But then I need to switch blend mode all the time, which is very annoying. But something still doesn't seem to be working, so... Okay, what does draw text EX do then? We have our font that uses my new fancy silly thing. Draw text EX. We will look at it. Text length, font size, get code point. Yeah. This just gets the code point. It doesn't do anything with the font yet. And then it says this stuff. Right. Draw text code point. Font.texture. From a source direct. Source direct is just where in the texture to draw from, and this direct is where on the screen to draw. And then there's some stuff here. And the tint is not touched. And Draw Texture Pro is the same. Wait. There might be something here. Go back. Draw World. Maybe it's not even using the pixel filter shader yet, because... Wait a minute. That is done here. When is that show FPS stuff done? That's done in the beginning of Draw Default. It should already be doing this. I'm just gonna... Very confusing. Now reset the game. Now it's just all these blocks again. So this means that whatever it is sampling here is... Wait. Let me go down, because if we go down to the bottom here, so here is the... So if you remove these lines, this is the normal text drawing that is used. I think this uses that stuff. You can kind of see in the wall here that this is wrong. This thing, I think, does not use it. This thing uses it. When is that you HUD drawn then? Is it, I think it's that somewhere far down here. Inspect. Is the HUD drawn here? Maybe. Yeah. And here you see all this kind of nonsense. Begin mode alpha, and then it jumps back into pre-multiplied alpha, and this is to draw the I think this is to draw the name here. So we can do this, for example. Now this will also look bad, probably. Here you go. Am I missing something? I mean, pre-multiply alpha is just a equation for how I don't need to do anything to the texture to support it, because it's just the equation it uses when it computes the output color somewhere. Oh. It almost looks like the tint of the thing. I'll try something. Show FPS. Yeah, this, I mean, this should just be like this, right? This is now drawing in alpha blend mode, I think. Or is it? What is calling draw default? Wait a minute. Draw world is the thing that starts the whole shader mode here. And then sets pre-multiplied alpha. So I think it should be like this. Yeah, I'm just testing this. This is not like rl dot end blend mode, rl dot end shader mode. I didn't ever try this. And then it looks like that. Why do you look like that? Does draw world do anything more fun? See if I've forgotten anything. Draw texture. Tint color or otherwise rl.white. Right. End mode 2D. But I mean, to be fair, this text here, space, is written here, and it doesn't work there either. So let's maybe try to fix this text. If I press RL white, then I think this one is going to start looking like this now. Yeah. And if I send nothing at all, then it will look black. And if I do something stupid like this, 0 to 0, 0, 255, 255. Then it will become blue. Maybe, wait a minute. Let's try this. I'm gonna do a silly thing here. If RGBA data I dot alpha is it's not 0, then it does this stuff. Because yes, this is gonna be the problem, because with pre-multiplied alpha, I think if you have texture data there while there is no tada. So I've seen this before, like in sometimes when I've drawn an Aseprite, I've accidentally drawn with color but at alpha 0. And then with pre-multiplied alpha, I think the equation gets a bit funny, so it's like, oh no, I have like, because I think it's because of how it multiplies alpha into the color components. It gets a bit confused. But you see now, this works. All the font got a bit thicker. Is that because... Actually, should I... Maybe I've just misunderstood everything about pre-multiplied alpha. Should alpha actually be pre-multiplied? The texture. I need to read up on this. This is again like do I need to actually change my textures? Stop that. Oh no, it got bad. No. Like how? So this is the value, and this is the alpha. Here's the value, here's the value, here's the value. Is anyone good with this kind of graphics programming? I'm a bit confused because I've used pre-multiplied alpha for all my textures in the game. But those don't have any gradients in them. They are full alpha or 0. There's never any in between. So I wonder if I don't know what... The problem might be that I have no idea what I'm doing. I need to read up on this, I think, because if I check something here. That still looks wrong. Like in a graphics pipeline, if you use pre-multiplied alpha, how is the texture data you put in supposed to look like? That's, I guess, I will look a bit at this pre-multiplied alpha. Okay, turning textures in. Now in Stack Overflow, this is always where the quality stuff is. Okay, yeah, so I think my problem is that the only time in my program where I have semi-transparent pixels is in the font, so I haven't seen this before, and I don't know what I'm doing, because I don't seem to understand pre-multiplied alpha properly. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Right. Okay, so apparently I am supposed to multiply RGB, but this is what I always thought how pre-multiplied alpha worked, that what it means is that the input textures have pre-multiplied alpha, but then because in my game I was like, it just worked. I was like, oh, fine. It seems like I misunderstood something and didn't think more about it. But that's what you need to do to input textures. And the font is the only place where I have a gradient of alpha. So let's try to get this to work. So it still looks a bit funny. It's like a white outline here, and this one is supposed to be white, right? Oh. I'm using A here as if it was a value between 0 and 1. It's not. Now everything will work. The game is done now. That's quite embarrassing that I've been... Look at that. Nice. The question now is, what happens when I run... Oh, these look like crap now. Something else is wrong. But if I run new game... Wait a minute, I need to find it. Where the cat says stuff at the start. Draw dialog bubble. What does this one do? Draw dialog bubble does all this crap. It comes to the bottom, runs render text, text to render, okay. And now I can remove this. So here is the... When it switches to alpha blending here, I can remove this like that. Hopefully now I can go to the main menu. We'll just reset. Oh, that was interesting. I broke my game. I pressed the reload game menu while in the button. Let's see how it looks. I have no idea if this will fix it. This looks like a long shot. I feel like the Home Alone kid now. It's wobbling less. Actually, it's not wobbling at all. The only thing wobbling is the rectangles around the text. Because on those I don't use the proper... I've done something wrong there. So yay! We repaired the game. It's such an embarrassing thing to that I've used pre-multiplied alpha everywhere, and I've actually shipped the game and I don't understand what it does. Here you go. That's you don't need, you can drop your imposter syndrome now, because I have used the if you feel like you can't finish your game or something, because I've shipped this game on itch, and I have used a blend mode everywhere that I do not understand. But now I understand it. It's just when you say you want pre-modeled alpha, it will use a different equation for how it uses alpha during the, like it changes, I think, how the inputs to the shader somewhere, how it blends colors and stuff. Essentially, there's a stage in the shader somewhere where it sort of looks at alpha, right? And that changes that pre-multiplied alpha changed that equation, so it looks at with pre-multiplied alpha, it expects the colors, the RGB of the input texture to have the alpha multiplied into it instead of looking at the alpha separately. But that means, of course, that your input textures must be have that done to them. And I assumed, like, this is what I thought it was. But when I put in pre-multiplied alpha in my game, I saw that, oh, you don't need to do anything to the texture, it just works. And I was like, I guess it's some kind of magic. And then I stopped thinking about it and just accepted it. Never accept magic. But now I realize the only reason it has been working all this time is because my pixel art, I never use gradients, because I'm trying to make the game so that there's only 8 colors. So either there is 8 colors, and it can also be fully transparent or not transparent, sort of like a GIF or something, you know. But that's why you see that there's no like fuzzy outlines and stuff. So I've never had any texture with an alpha value that was not 0 or 255. Here's my new NPC I'm making for the tutorial. It's gonna teach you to talk to people. It's the cave mouth, and you can ask it, can I pass through the caves? And then it says, sure, cat, and then opens. It's very good. Yeah, like chat says, this kind of misunderstanding happens to all of us, but it's just funny. But it sort of like this aha moment. Okay. Anyways, so we saw that. Let's look at that again. This is broken right now because it still uses the alpha crappy stuff I had before. But we can look at this again and see that text does not wobble anymore because it's now properly filtered through my pixel. You see, it's like stable. It doesn't move an inch. This stuff around it wobbles a bit, so it can look like this wobbles, but it actually doesn't. So let's go around in a code and remove every single one of yeah, we're gonna remove every single one of those funny guys. What's it called? The blend mode into alpha. And Accusart, the reason it's blue, it's not supposed to be that. It's just because I was testing things with these colors. So we will find that. Where was that? I think it was like 0.255. Here, I changed the tint of all the text drawn in the game to. It's gonna change. Boop, there you go. No, it's not supposed to be white. It's supposed to be. I have to look in the Git, not in Raylib. Cat game. Yeah, I just need to change that back. Yeah, v.color it was, because there comes a color in the call to draw the. Yeah, it looked like it's supposed to be like this. This looks a bit wrong still somehow. There's still something wrong with that text. We will look at that soon. Wait, something is still wrong. I just looked closer. There's like an ugly outline on everything. I mean that this looks wrong is... Okay, let's go to the menu. Let's try to fix this, because this is super obvious to fix these guys. Main menu, update. Yeah, Windows still has the screen. I can do this also. Screen magnifier. Do. You see there's some weird outline and everything, but this outline I expected. Because if we go to like you're gonna see, like every time I drew text currently I did this. But you know, it's just how it was. Let's find this menu code. Do menu it's called. So this is the menu items. Huh? Oh, I think I know what it is. Maybe. No, here it comes and says, please use the pixel filter shader and go into pre-multiplied alpha mode. And then it ends the blend mode here. Okay, now then. It's where does it actually draw the menu? Here. Okay, so remove every single blend mode call to start with, because those should never be there. This is very soul cleansing to do. All those. It says here that it's in pre-multiplied alpha mode. Okay. And then down here it does this. Let me just check something here. Main menu update is run here. I have to draw default. We might in the end enclose the whole game in just please use the pixelart filtering shader and pre-multiplied alpha. But okay, draw all the stuff. I mean, it shouldn't matter, right? Draw. What's it called? Update. Main menu update. Am I doing something wrong? This one, let me here's this stuff. Continue. This is drawn with... I'm a bit confused. This is drawn here, which is a so-called dialogue font. And dialogue font is loads here. Cody Tatman says, what if everything is pre-multiplied? Yeah, it should be, but okay. Let me do something silly here. Oi, oi. Do menu. So if I go here and I say, actually you don't really need to end blend mode because it doesn't really restore anything when you end it. This still looks wrong to me. And this text up here also looks wrong, that it has a black outline. I'm going to restart that because to make sure my font was actually correctly loaded. And this all looks wrong. And this one, wait, should this should be there, because otherwise yeah. Strange. A divided by 255. I don't need to worry here about the A is, well, and wait. I mean, I do need to worry about this. A is an integer, 255 is an integer. That won't work. And then I need to do this back to U8. Right. Because I thought like, oh, but it's fine because this is a float, so everything will be fine. But it's not. This would be a pretty expression. Okay, that might change things. Looks very nice. Ooh. Fancy. Look at that. This one is still wrong because it's probably using alpha mode. This one too. Let's check. Paused. There's paused. Yeah, there you go. Wait a minute. Begin shading. Pre-multiply. Okay, this is all gonna get cleaned up a lot very soon. The text looks so much better. It's like, even with the alpha mode it looked wrong because it had a weird, the alpha was wrong in the outline. This like looks so much nicer. It's like, oof. Very bad, the text rendering. Now I can ship. By the way, my game has been it's gonna launch on Steam it's gonna launch in March on Steam. I've been started saying now because I used to say it's gonna launch in Q1, but Q1 ends in March. So it's gonna launch before the end of March. It's gonna launch before the end of March. And today the Steam page has been up for a long time. Yeah, the save text still uses the alpha. I'm gonna go around and clean. It uses the wrong blending mode still. So the Steam page has been up for a long time, but when you release on Steam you need to do two things. First you need to get the Steam page up, then you can get wishlist, all that stuff. And if you want to wishlist my game, you can do that. There's a link in this video description. But then you need to do a second round of review from Steam or Valve, where they actually run your build and just check that your game is actually not, just some random crap. And that passed today. So from today, I could release the game. Could go in and click the button and release the game today on Steam if I wanted to. But I have, as you might see, this still has there's still a few things to fix, but it's all getting there. Okay, this text, all the text looks so much nicer. Oh my god. Look at this. It looks so nice, and it went from like to like, oh yeah, I kind of want to eat this text. Okay, what we will do now is, one thing I wonder is, when I go into the editor, will I be able to use pre-multiplied alpha there as well? Like, this is my editor, but everything is very big because I'm using so high screen scale when I'm on stream, so this all looks very big. But I don't know. I will figure it out later. I will. What I will do now is I will go around first and remove all .alpha. Let's actually. Yeah, we will just do this. We will go around all the code and just do this. Press F3. Delete. Do you see how many of these there are in the game? Because I didn't have time before the itch release to fix this. Where's the begin blend mode here? Shouldn't be there either. Actually, we can search for begin blend mode instead. This is one of the nicest thing about programming, when you get to delete code that's terrible. Yeah, this was my test thing. Don't need that, don't need this, don't need that. This is like soul cleansing. What's this stuff? Oh, where am I? Draw default. This will not be needed where we are going. Blend mode. Begin blend. Yeah, delete that. Delete that. Who is this? Yeah, there's a few hacks here also where I've started the pixel shader filter. We won't need to do that either. Begin blend mode and blend mode. And nope, nope, nope. We'll have none of that. Good day, sir. This is, if you don't do much programming, then you might not know this, but this is actually the best thing of programming, when you delete really bad code because you fixed it properly. Where is this? In-game menu update. You know what? I'm gonna save these two lines in a comment here, so I can copy them later. Oh wait, what I'm gonna do is this: draw default, and then we find this here, right? This is my root state, so you're in the main menu, or you're playing, or you know, all those kind of funny things. I think what my game should do, let's check, this is just some state stuff, don't need to care about that. Sound update, I think it should do this. And then we will do rl.end blend mode, and then we do rl.end shader mode. And now we start doing this. We go around, find begin shader mode, begin blend mode. Nope, don't need this. Then the world will of course do begin mode 2D, which is the thing that what's this? In-game menu, don't need that. Wait, did I just delete? I just deleted the code that I needed. Okay, there's only one begin shader mode, only one begin blend mode. Now let's find the end blend modes. Wait, where am I? I'm inside draw world. There you go. So confused. I want that I think it's some editors that can say just like which proc you're currently inside. That's one of the few fancy features I would maybe like sometimes. Don't need it that often. Just in this case, I just want to make sure what proc. This is inside draw default. This is not needed. This is inside one of the menus, not needed. This is inside one of the menus, not needed. This is that one. Wow. Wait, who? You're that one. Who are you? Oh, that's the one I accidentally skipped before. Okay, and then end shader mode. There's only one emblem mode, only one end shader mode. There's a begin. There's only one begin. There's only one begin. Compile. Hot reload. Go. That's a creative way of this font to write a 5. Is that a 5? What? No, it's... Is that how this font writes 8? Or is the font broken? Or has my... Anyways, that's not important right now. And now, hopefully, those rectangles that wobbled might be fixed. Because now everything uses the... No, the rectangle still wobbles. I have to look at that. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's all fine. I'll look at that. Actually, the rectangle wobbled less, so maybe I was just imagining things. Ugh. Why am I having frame rate drops? Sometimes my development build is a bit funny. Doesn't happen in there, but yeah. Let's make this big, and I will look at that again because I was a bit unsure about whether the rectangles. I think the rectangles wobble less. No, the rectangle still wobbles. Wobble. Let's check that. Nice and fluffy. Okay, this uses draw dialog bubble. What this thing does, it just draws some text, but then it draws all these rectangles also. And that's appended to render. As a renderable rect. Draw rectangle rec. I know why. This is not drawn using a shader in the same way. I think this uses draw rectangle pro. Oh no. Get shapes texture. Okay, what does this thing really do? Do I have support quads draw mode? Raylib config.h? Yes, because I have default settings. So I have this code. Okay. Yeah, but it seems like it uses a texture to do this. Wait, what is this? Get shapes texture, set texture, and then it's like, oh, blah, blah. Get shapes texture rectangle. And then it begins drawing vertices like there's no tomorrow, and then okay, so it uses a small rectangle. The problem here might just be that that one does not have the bilinear filtering enabled. I think I can fix that, but because I can probably do like this. Let me see here. Get shapes texture. Okay. Raylib.odin. Get shapes texture. Get shapes Oh no, it's not exposed. Get shapes texture. Okay. Okay, where is that supposed to be? It's supposed to be just after update camera. I will just add it to the binding. Update camera. Oh, set shapes texture. Okay, why can't I get it? Just let me get it. This is how easy it is, like when you have a C-lib and your binding is missing some proc that's in the C-lib, but you have forgot to add a line in your binding, because it, like, you just do this and then it will, the foreign lib system will match it up. Like it, this one is set up foreign lib, and then it knows which libraries to load from this stuff up here. So it knows that it should load raylib.lib and stuff, and then it can. So Cody says that I have to render lines and regs with alpha pixel around the edge so they don't get cut off by the version. Yeah, we'll see if I can do that. Oh, you're asking what? Cody's asking, what are these things? So in Odin, everything is initialized by the. Okay, there's two things. What this means is that this proc does not need, like, if you don't have this, then it's like, but why? Where is your? No, actually, so what this does is it doesn't default initialize it to anything, because in Odin usually, whenever you put dash dash dash, it, well, in Odin usually everything is zero initialized. So if it's like a struct with a proc inside, then that means it's a procedure pointer, and then it will usually be nil. But this will just make it into any random memory. But this will it needs to be there specifically when you have lib, when you're importing from foreign lib. So it doesn't. I think otherwise it would initialize it to nothing, and then it would be overwritten what came from the lib. Yeah, it's not really separating declaration from definition. It's more like just not initializing it. There's no auto initialized on this line. If you have like this see here, let me find it's a good, yeah, so this is from the doc. So if when you make an int, so this int here will be 0. This will be initialized memory. This is like just writing int y in C without writing equals 0. This is the same as doing that. But you almost never want that. You almost always want a default initialization. So this will default initialize. And it, in this case inside here, it's because it will populate these with the function pointers to Raylib. And if this isn't here, then it will, I think it will just 0 initialize them with a procedure. It's a bit different here because this is not a struct that contains things. This is a foreign block with all these procedures that are essentially like compile time constants. So I'm a bit confused as to exactly what happens if you remove this. Then I think you will get, well, let's try it. Does it even compile? Okay, it says, did you forget? Only procedures and variable allowed in a foreign block. Got procedure type. And if I did this, yeah, so a foreign procedure, of course, is because it's in this block, is not allowed to have a body, because the whole point is to link it to some, like, match it up to something else in the lib. Yeah, it will automatically get linked up to the correct address because of this. This thing just means that you're not expecting to write any kind of body for the proc, because it will get caught by this instead and give it a body from Raylib. Anyways, I was doing something. Get shapes texture. Yes, we have this one. Okay, so this should compile. Right. So what I'm gonna try to do here is when is the shapes texture initialized? Let's look in text shapes. Text shapes equals. That's a funny texture. What is this? White pixel loaded by RLGL. Looks very interesting. How does that even, what is this? Oh, it must be that the texture at ID1 is the text shape. Yeah. Oh well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fetch that one and change it. When is it created? Text shapes. Blah blah blah. Okay, it seems to exist early on, but when is it loaded? Oh, whatever, I don't care. I just go to game init. Raylib. When is... Yeah, we can go to window init. Init window. And then we will do something here. After we have init the window here, we will rl.get shapes texture, right? Shapes text. Then we say rl.set filter shapes text to bilinear. Let's see what it does. Right, I might have to completely start over the program because this happens in init window. Okay, it didn't crash, that's good. Okay, eyes. Nah, it's still a bit wobbly. I think I have to dig a bit deeper into this, but this is not the whole world. I can look into this. The important thing to fix right now is this. Can I check something? Is there fmt to print shapes text? I wanna see if this is even initialized at this point. Ah, it's an uncompressed gray alpha texture. It's oh. But I was thinking something. What if what if my assumption here is wrong? What if the only thing that was wrong was that the font texture didn't have pre-multiplied alpha and all this is just crap? What if maybe I haven't looked at the stuff inside Raylib, but maybe it does work with, maybe it was just because the, yeah, I think this all this might be crap. We will do a quick experiment where we instead just fix up this texture. What we'll do is we will take this one, which is the value, and we will multiply it by the alpha, and then we will not change this at all, and then we will go down here and do that. Wait, of course, this is not how you do it. This is how you do it. The alpha is this, and then we say the value is this, and then we say that this equals you. Let me take this line, put it there. Thank you very much. I'm almost gonna bet some money that this is gonna work properly. It did. Okay. So I don't need to change it to pre-multiplied alpha. Works perfectly fine with this kind of thing, of course, because the real problem was that I did not have pre-multiplied alpha on my textures, which is very logical. So you can scrap all that crap. Yeah, exactly. I get to delete even more code. It's like Christmas Eve here. Question is, can I do this? I still need to sort of have this proc here too, because I still need to modify the texture that Raylib creates. And then there's one thing I've forgotten here now because of all this, that there was like an rl.unload image here, atlas. I think that still needs to be there now, because now I'd no longer manually delete the atlas. But that's quite interesting. Like, there's lots of textures generated by Raylib, and you can draw things with pre-multiplied alpha, but many of those textures generated by Raylib does not support it really. Wait, what's this? It's a it's a function that pre-multiplies alpha. Can I? But there's no one. Yeah, I can. I can do that on any image, that's fine. But if the image is already uploaded to the GPU, then I would need to bring the picture down, pre-multiply it, and then put it up again, which is sort of this dance. It's sort of like this kind of thing I really don't like doing. But anyways, you can do this. Yeah, thanks Raylib. What I will do is this rl.pre. You see, it goes from clarity to new type of clarity. Things just I can delete even more code. I think. Wait, I'm just gonna check what this one does. But this is would be a fun. Why does it? Wait, this thing doesn't work. What is this doing? It assumes. This doesn't look so good. Okay, yeah, this is not a very good function. It reallocates the colors for the pixels of the image just so that it can get it into a nice format, so that it can do the multiplication. Because, you know, I have a gray alpha texture. This thing will, and then so it actually, no matter what kind of texture you have, at the end of this, they're all R8, G8, B8, A8, but they don't need to be. So that's a bit funny. It's probably some kind of, it was hard to write this code in a way that, so I probably I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use my fancy, super optimized code that doesn't allocate anything. Okay. But that's all fine and good. So all that work we did with figuring out how to use computers, all the work we figured out how to change it into a RGB texture was for nothing. But that's fine. I think the only thing I need to do to fix the flickering rect is to replace the shapes texture in Raylib with one that has this as well. And then I think I've fixed every single thing that where this is a problem. I kind of wish that I could, when I boot up Raylib, that I could tell it that hey, any texture you generate, please make it pre-multiplied alpha. And then it's sort of, that looks a bit weird. Yeah, sometimes there's a slight wobble to the text. It's not, it's fairly fixed, but it just, sometimes I saw like a line go through it, but it's 1,000 times better than before. Okay. Oh, how does the editor look now with all this? It looks okay. But I think the editor might have its own, it might still be doing all the old bad stuff. Okay, I will keep this like it is. Raylib is generating the font it generates when you. The question is if is Raylib generating these textures at boot. The font texture generates when you ask it to load a font. Then there's the shapes texture that seems to be generated. I don't know when it's generated, but maybe at boot. It seems like, because it's like some built-in thing. And yeah, and then I don't know if it generates that many more textures. Mostly the fonts. All right. So I think here, in this case, I will have to replace the whole texture. Should I do that now, maybe? Can I? I will have to, I'm a bit tired. I have to look into how that works. That's for another day. We're right here. To do, generate pre-multiplied alpha texture for shapes. I'm gonna ask also in the Raylib Discord if I'm doing something like silly with all this, because it feels sometimes like now I'm just looking through the config of Raylib, so there's not a magic flag that I can turn on that. No. I will ask them, like, if maybe this is an oversight or something in Raylib where, yeah, built-in textures assume the blend mode or something. Right, let's look at the diff. Okay, we added some stuff. That's good. And then we removed lots of stuff everywhere, which is super nice. And then that thing in the Raylib get shapes texture. This one I don't I won't need this really. Just comment this out since it doesn't do anything. Right. Cool, super nice. That's a lot of clarity in one session of like what is pre-multiplied alpha, how does yeah, that's the clarity now. But it's also that the Raylib pre-multiplied alpha works just fine with, it doesn't matter what kind of texture you're using. That was just me being silly, but it's quite often like that. You kind of do lots of stuff and then at the end you do a tiny bit extra that seems to be that little extra thing you needed to solve the problem, but actually the whole problem was only that little extra thing at the end, and then you realize that suddenly, and then you yeah. Oh well. Let's add all this and we commit this as pre-multiply font textures, pre-multiply alpha on font textures. Makes font textures and use pixel filtering everywhere, makes everything look nice. There's two things here that I've learned, like the pre-multiplied alpha stuff, that because I've seen the equation before, so I was sort of in denial about how it works, but it all makes sense now, like with the equation for how it calculates the in how it uses, like I can show you the equation. It's pre-multiplied alpha equation. Yeah, so when it mixes color somewhere in the pipeline of outputting art, this is like this is the straight alpha, this is the standard equation it uses, and this is pre-multiplied alpha. So in this case, it doesn't need to care about the alpha of the destination. Wait, in this... No, it doesn't need to multiply the source by the alpha. It just needs to multiply it once over here. But anyways, so I've learned like that. Of course, the graphics API or whatever you're using does not do anything to your textures for you. You must change the texture yourself, which was maybe obvious, but I for some reason had started believing that it did. And the other part is that I need to read up on the, you know, sort of the pixel art filtering stuff, how that works. Like I've, because this is some open source code I put in for the UV here, but every time I explain it, I notice I'm a bit like hand wavy with it, because I know it's sort of, it takes the UV and times the resolution, which gives a pixel, and then it adds 0.5, which kind of will move it to the center of the pixel, and then it floors it, and in that way it kind of make sure that it has only one value per pixel. It doesn't like how this sub-pixel sort of like jittering. So per pixel there's only one color value. And then this also does some extra stuff because of the when you have two edges that line up perfectly, then it needs to do some extra stuff, and that's this stuff down here. The most simple of these UV functions usually can be just like almost 1 or 2 lines. But anyways, it's essentially, this is the important part, that it converts the UV into like the pixel position, and then goes to the middle and then floors it, so the pixel stays at one color regardless of whatever sub-pixel trickery is going on. The question is, why does it need bilinear filtering? Because if you don't have bilinear filtering, you get an ugly outline around everything. I think it might be because pre-multiplied alpha. Why is pre-multiplied alpha required for this? Oh, that's because it floors. Wait a minute. Why is pre-multiplied alpha? So this is the stuff I need to figure out, like exactly why, so I can be sure of everything. Cody asks if I have color in my alpha pixels. I mean, no, mostly no, because I only had full alpha or no alpha, because my pixel art was mainly like that. It was full alpha or not at all, but the fonts was the only place where there was sort of a gradient on the alpha. But with this you pre-multiply Prima. Go look at this fancy article again. Maybe I should read it properly. Maybe I should. Yeah, because this one sort of explains. Okay, I promise I will, for the next stream, I will study this and come up with, I will understand this in detail. Why, it's like step 1, why is pre-multiplied alpha required for this to work properly? And in combination with that, why is, that's the two things, pre-multiplied alpha and bilinear texture filtering is also required, instead of doing like box filtering, which is Yuck's nearest neighbor. If your chat says if your shader samples between pixel read a black pixel with partial alpha. But I mean the texture it's sampling between pixels. But the texture it's sampling will still, I mean if you sort of go in between two positions, it will have a value there. That's correct. Anyways, this is not so important. I will just, I don't like when I feel like I haven't 100%. This like, these are the two things that I feel like I need to figure out. The what I figured out the pre-multiplied alpha stuff. Now we're just, why are these requirements for the pixel filter? Because I kind of understand the plus 0.5 and flooring it, but then why does that need all the funny extra stuff? But I'm not gonna do that now because it's late and I need to stop with this silly stream. Wait, we're gonna do one thing first. We're just gonna go into the editor and we're gonna look at begin blend mode. Oh no. These everywhere here. What are all these? Okay, it's too late. I will fix these as well. I will remove. I think I can move all this stuff out and then remove all these lines because I don't think it's needed anymore. I think my I used to not oh yeah, so my editor doesn't actually, the only times my editor does all this stuff is whenever it wants to draw a texture, because I can show you why, because otherwise it will draw the texture without the filter on, and then since it has bilinear filtering it will get blurry, so that's why it does that. So if I go here and go into the editor and I go to entity types and I select this guy here, or something better like this tree, right? This looks very funny in this high DPI. And then if I were to turn off, where is the, I think it's these lines. If I were to turn off this stuff, Oh, you see down here, ignore this, but you see down here it got blurry now. This is how the textures actually look with bilinear filtering on. Because they've prepared for using with the pixelart filter. But for some reason I'm not using the pixelart filter everywhere in here, and I think that's because the GUI code before couldn't use it to draw all this text and stuff, so I had this selective drawing of it. But I think now I can actually use the pixelart filter for the whole editor. So, but I will do that tomorrow, because now I got tired. But it's all looking great. Look at the text. Quit the desktop. This is an old log. Whatever. And I committed everything. Oh, this is just my example. There we go. Thank you everyone for watching. It was a very confusing stream. Kind of this is programmer's life many times, when you kind of realize you haven't understood something and then you need to do some exploratory programming, and then suddenly you understand everything. Yeah, I will fix the editor stuff tomorrow so I can remove all this crap, and then I will also look into the pixel art filtering a bit to really understand that fully, and I will maybe explain. Maybe I'll make a new video about it, because I have a video about pixel art filtering, but in that video it's also obvious that I really don't know how it works. So maybe I'll someday make a new video about that and really explain the process of how it works. Like, because in that one I just show the different these different kind of filters, but I don't really explain how it works in detail, because I honestly didn't really understand that part. I just understand the effect it had on the graphics, not the why it worked. Anyways, I will look into that. It will be good. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for such nice comments in the chat. I will see you next time. Bye.